Hello, everyone. Welcome to a golden episode of the Creative Differences podcast. My name is Dallas, and I'm just here to hear Gabby talk about Chel's thighs.
I'm Gabby, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Dallas, because it was definitely something I was going to bring up.
I'm sure it is. Anyway, happy Throwback Thursday, everyone. We are celebrating the 20-year anniversary of The Road to El Dorado, which is a classically kind of slept-on animated movie.
For real.
From Dreamworks. It's not Disney, so people don't really make a big deal about it, but it's a really dope movie.
Yeah, Dreamworks puts out quality children's films.
Yeah, they got some
family films. I don't know. This one's more family because of the stuff that Chel does, man.
Yeah, she's not.
And how she looks.
She's not a child-friendly character at all. But anyway, a little background on this movie. It was directed by Eric Bebo Bergeron. That's his name. He directed Shark Tale with Will Smith.
And that really I forget about that one too.
That's cool.
I think most people do.
Fair. And a guy named Don Paul, who I couldn't find anything about on Wikipedia, so he's also there. It was written by Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio, and they're a writing duo who wrote so many movies. They wrote Aladdin, The Mask of Zorro, Small Soldiers, Shrek, and all of the Pirates movies except for the last one.
And that explains why that one was extra trashy. Just kidding.
Okay. Wow.
No shade. A little bit of shade.
Also, in case you're wondering, Demi and Colin went off on a treasure hunt together, so they're gone. Actually, Demi might pop up as disembodied voice here and there, but Colin is gone.
Yeah,
looking for treasure.
Bye. Really quick, Dallas.
Yes.
You sound like you have the most radio voice right now.
Oh, good.
Like it's very like talk radio. Like, hello, I'm Dallas, and welcome back to.
Nice. It only took me like 54 episodes to get there.
No, I like your normal voice.
Gabby.
Yes.
Was this your first time watching El Dorado?
It is not, but I don't remember my first time watching it either.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. Is it? Oh yeah, it's the 20th anniversary. We were like, how old were we? Like 8 years old when this movie came out, right?
Just about. Well, it came out in March, so like you were 8, I was 7.
Yeah. Yeah, we were little kids.
Yeah.
This came out.
I remember liking it a lot. Chel was probably some sort of awakening for me as a child.
Of course.
Honestly, like when you're 7, you're just like, oh, this movie's funny and horses and colors and stuff. But I didn't pick up on a lot of what was going on.
Oh, same. I didn't realize that this movie was about like them pretending to be gods for way too long. I was like, why are all these people that look like me falling for these other people that also look like me?
That could be very confusing.
Is this movie supposed to be in Spanish?
And then one thing I did not forget was that opening song by Elton John.
And see, I did. I was like, damn, I don't remember this.
I forgot every other song, but not that one.
Yeah, I forgot there's like songs in this.
Yeah, I was like, oh my, this is a musical. I didn't realize.
Also, I decided to look up Chel on Google, and she is apparently a lot of people's awakenings.
Of course she is.
There's a lot of like sexy Chel.
Oh,
it's really funny.
I've seen all of that.
Like, I'm looking at the tame stuff, but it's still hilarious to me.
Yeah, definitely ranges from tame to not so tame.
To not tame at all.
Man, I really wish Demi was here for this conversation.
Right. Why do you need me to be here for this conversation?
Because we know it'll make you uncomfortable. Dallas.
Yes.
When's the first time you saw this movie?
I had to be like 7 or 8. I don't remember if I saw it in theaters, but I know if I didn't, I saw it very soon after it was in theaters because I remember being very young and not knowing what was going on.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that like I don't remember whether I saw this one in theaters or not, but like I remember vividly seeing Mulan in theaters, and Mulan came out in like
98, I think.
Yeah. So I remember being 6 and seeing that, but I can't remember if I saw El Dorado in the theaters, which leads me to believe I likely didn't. But you know what's funny is I remember the Burger King toys of El Dorado.
Really?
Or was it Burger King?
Probably.
One of the fast food joints was putting out toys of this. And that's when I realized, I was like, this is like Mayan and or Aztec gods. I think it's Mayan gods.
Hey guys.
Art looks Mayan.
Hey guys. You know when the first time I saw this movie was?
What?
Was it yesterday?
It was last night.
Really? You hadn't seen it?
I had seen clips of this movie, but I had never watched this movie all the way through.
Yo, that's wild.
What did you think, Demi? Tell the people.
Yeah, what did you think of Chell? I'm sorry.
I liked the movie. It's a very cute movie. It is not for children.
Really? I mean, right.
It is not for children because of Chell.
Right? Chell was
And
like,
that's all I
why
have to
was
say
she
on
so
that.
sick? Like,
That's not even what I mean.
oh, like how bad she was, or the part with Tulio
Everything with Tulio, man.
and Chell. Oh god, it's so inappropriate. And we watched that, and our parents watched that, and they were like, "Eh, it's fine."
Yeah, just like as you age, you start remembering and seeing different things that people point out. Like, oh yeah, when they were like on the ground together, and she popped up, and she wasn't near his mouth.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
They snuck that in.
It's a
Oh
wild movie.
goodness.
Let's move on.
Oh, this is so great. Yeah, we can move on.
The story. What
We're
do you
gonna
think
talk
about the
about Chell
story?
a lot. The story. Well, now that I was watching, I was like, this is pretty straightforward. It's two guys that get in over their heads and just decide to improvise, and somebody that can see right through them. That's apparently supposed to be a bad guy, even though like he was just a dude trying to be religious, and then Chell trying to take advantage of the whole situation. This is pretty. It's like you've seen this story before.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting context.
Apparently, it's loosely based on The Man Who Would Be King, which is a book by Rudyard Kipling, the guy who wrote The Jungle Book and The White Man's Burden. So, yeah.
Did he really write a book called The White Man's Burden?
He did. I don't think it was a book. I think it was like a poem, but The White Man's Burden is his whole thing.
Ugh. Sorry.
Yeah, that's Jungle Book.
Fantastic.
But yeah, aside from the racist origins, yeah, I like the story. It has some romance, lots of excitement. It has a weird seduction scene when Chell is just like, oh, well, Miguel's gone. What are we going to do? And he's like, I don't really trust you. And she's like, well, I'm not asking you to trust me. And then he grabs her shoulders and just melts.
Oh, Chell. She's great. I really like her.
She's great. Speaking of great people, the characters, I really, really like Miguel and Tulio.
Yes.
Like their back and forth is hilarious all the time.
Yes. And they're played, you know what's funny is they're played by Kenneth Branagh and Kevin Kline, who are two white men that I get confused with each other, which I think is hilarious. Even their voices. Anyway, watching this movie, it's like, of course those two would be great in a movie together, but it really took, and you know what, I still want to see them in a live action movie, but it really took like an animated movie to be like, oh yeah, Kenneth Branagh and Kevin Kline would be great in a movie together.
Yeah, they did it very well. I love how Tulio keeps talking to Miguel about the little voice in his head that Miguel doesn't have. It's like, listen to the little voice. What would it tell you about Chell?
And Miguel's like, I don't have that voice.
He's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Also, Miguel, as played by Gilderoy Lockhart, he still has Kenneth Branagh's accent,
but also doesn't have it.
It's like certain points where I'm like, oh, okay, Miguel is British for some reason.
Yes.
But the best thing is that Chell has a Brooklyn accent because Rosie Perez.
Yeah, because Rosie Perez did not try.
Didn't change her voice at all. So like there's some lines where she says, and I'm like, oh, Chell's from Brooklyn. What an interesting development for this movie about El Dorado.
It's true. It's really funny.
Like when she tries to get in on the scam and she's like, if you guys don't want to get caught. And I'm like, what did she just say? It's like, okay, cool. Chell's from Brooklyn. Why not? But yeah, they're great. The antagonist, Sekou Khan, isn't really that great to me. He's more annoying, I think, than menacing for the most part.
Yeah.
He's just kind of
at least until the end.
Yeah, and like when he gets to the Jaguar, I think he's pretty intense. But other than that, it's just like, I want to sacrifice people. Let me sacrifice everybody. And it's like,
you know what he reminded me of is like the bad guy from Pocahontas a little bit.
I honestly haven't watched Pocahontas since whenever that movie came out.
Well, there's like some English dude. His face mostly reminds me of him, but also like a little bit the pompousness and just like kind of ineffective. Like, I don't know. He seemed less like a villain and more like a spoil sport. Do you know what I mean? We're all of us over here having a bunch of fun, pretending these guys are gods, and your ass is the one that's like ruining it for everybody.
Definitely. Like the chief was chilling. He was great. He's
yeah,
like, let's have a feast, let's party. And Sekou Khan was like, no, we got to kill some people. And it's like, why do you always want to kill some people?
Well, you know, that was part of the religion.
That's what they did. But like when the gods are telling you, hey, we don't need to do that, you know, just relax.
That's true. Although Okay, so my only kind of complaint about this movie, I think it couldn't decide whether these were Aztecs or Mayans. And
Elaborate.
it was like, okay, so the temples look real Mayan to me, and so does the artwork. But like the traditions are like Aztec ones. Like I think that sport is like an Aztec sport, and the sacrificing people is an Aztec thing. I don't think the Mayans did that. I think the Mayans did do like blood sacrifice, but like of themselves. So they would like give their blood to the earth
Right.
and be like, "Thanks, Mother Earth, we love you." Whereas like the Aztecs would be like, let's conquer some people and cut their heads off and roll them down the pyramid.
Pyramids and all that.
Yeah. So I'd have to look it up again to see. But to me, it looked like they couldn't decide.
Maybe. I don't know a lot about any of that. So I'm going to
I
take
only
your
do
word
because I
for it.
took a class
That makes
in
sense.
college.
I didn't take that class.
Yeah. I was like, I should probably know a little bit about some part of my parents' country,
That makes sense.
ancestors. Although we're Western Mexicans, so we didn't even have Aztecs as our ancestors.
Oh.
But my mom is from El Salvador, which means we did have Mayans as our ancestors.
Okay, well then
I learned something.
Yeah, you got something. You got something. But yeah, every movie needs a big scary white man, and that's Cortez. I think he was really like they used him in small doses, but I think he was really good at being menacing because Jim Cummings is amazing as a voice actor.
Yeah, I was like, I know this voice.
Yeah,
Whose is it?
Jim Cummings. He's
Yep.
everybody. He's Ed from The Lion King, the hyena with the mental
Oh,
problem.
he's the weird hyena.
Yes, and
he's Tigger.
He's Tigger. He's Winnie the Pooh. He's a lot of people.
The
He's Pete.
Tasmanian devil.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, didn't he? No, he's not the one that passed away recently.
No, not to my knowledge. But also, he's the one that finished Be Prepared when Jeremy Irons heard his voice.
Oh, yes. Oh, he's so talented.
Yeah. Shout out to Jim Cummings.
Be prepared.
He's that dude.
Where you can't even tell when Jeremy Irons stops and Jim Cummings begins.
Yeah, he does a really good Jeremy Irons singing voice. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Before we move on from characters, do you have any other thoughts you want to say about Chow?
Thick thighs save lives. Let's move on.
Thick thighs save lives.
Well, I like how cunning she was, and I like how they decided to use a female character for that kind of a cunning type character. Because normally, like, the woman that they meet is like, you know, she's supposed to be helpful and sweet and la la la. And instead, they've got, like, you know, a crafty woman from Brooklyn, like, showing them the ropes. And I appreciate that.
Shout out to Thick Thighs. I just want to say, I can't remember the last podcast that I was a part of that we did, that somewhere we didn't bring up a character's thickness.
It was before Little Women.
Wow. All right. We got a nice streak going here. I'm going to try to keep it alive.
No.
Moving on. Visuals and sound. It looks really good, especially for like... Yes, Gabby. There were some visuals and there was some sound. But like for a 20-year-old movie, the animation looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
Like the colors.
Well, I think we forget, like, because digital animation's taken over so much, like, I feel like it's not that traditional animation was bad.
Yeah.
It's that digital animation was faster and more efficient and like cheaper to do, right? That's why we transitioned. The quality of work that they used to do was really, really good. It's just that, you know, it was expensive and it took a really long time. So,
that makes sense.
I mean, of course it looks great. I don't think we transitioned.
Yeah.
Huh?
You're not wrong about that expensive part. This movie cost $95 million to make and only made back 76.
$95 million?
Wait, what? Is that what the Wikipedia page says? Oh, yeah. It didn't even make its budget back. It was the box office bomb. But it's still great.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
definitely great.
People sleep on this one.
And they have for 20 years.
But no more. We're bringing our attention to it. Just kidding. Like we have an enormous audience. Okay, let's move on. So sound. The score is by Hans Zimmer. So, of course, we're Team Hans. Like, we all like his work.
Agreed.
Puts out excellent scores. And then some of the songs are by, like, the narrator is Elton John. So I believe some of the songs were written by him as well.
I would think so, yeah. He definitely.
All of the songs were written by him.
By Elton John and Tim Rice.
Yes, I remember seeing Tim Rice's name. But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Elton John has his style. He gonna do his thing.
Yeah. Is there any in particular that you want to highlight? Any songs in particular? Other than like the beginning one, El Dorado?
Not really. They're all pretty dope. But like I said, I always forget this movie is a musical. So like the music isn't really what stands out about it to me.
Same. I agree.
Yeah, I think we have the same interests as far as this movie goes. Speaking of, Gabby, what are your favorite things about this movie?
Well, okay, I like the relationship between Miguel and Tulio. That's
Mhm.
probably like one of my like favorite duos in film ever is like Miguel and Tulio. And also like the quality, like the amount of reaction gifs that you can get from this movie just from like their relationship are like great. Like one
Yeah,
of
like
my
we've been
favorite.
seeing them forever. Like the both is good.
Yes.
Um,
And then like the
Stars,
like intensive mandolin intensifies.
right,
Like,
playing in the background. Stars can't do it. Not today.
yeah. Like
Those are all great.
those are all great gifts. So like as a result, I've really warmed up and really like their relationship. I like that it takes like basically both of my ancestors and puts them in a movie together. We're native and Spanish, or at least that's generally believed to be the mix that I am of Latin America. So it's nice to see that on screen. And I like that the Spaniards, well, other than Tulio and Miguel, like because of Cortez is like the bad guy, right? So the Spaniards are the
Yes.
bad guys. It's nice to see that.
Yes, they are the bad guys, except for the characters that we love so much.
Yeah, Chel's great. Like I said, I like her.
Yeah, she's great for various
Oh,
reasons.
and then my other favorite part was like the armadillo, the ball,
Oh yeah,
like
that
the
was dope.
game. That part, I was always super excited to watch that game. It looked so cool. And like those courts still exist. And
Oh,
somebody
nice.
was trying to bring that game back too. So like in modern times. So yeah, I also really like the scene where they play that game.
Yeah, that
What
was
about you?
another thing I never forgot about. Is like I always remember the sport thing, the opening song, and Shell's body type.
Of
But yeah,
course.
as far as like the movie goes, yeah, it's basically all the stuff you said. Miguel and Tulio together are just like two of my favorite characters together.
Yes.
And all the writing I really like. The dialogue in this movie is really funny
Yes.
and it doesn't really get old to me. I also don't watch this movie all the time, but like even the parts that I remember are gonna come, it's like still funny to me.
Oh yeah, I was watching this and I was like laughing out loud at the words that they were saying. Like they were
Same.
it was genuinely hilarious. Like they're really clever. It was really funny.
Demi, what's your favorite part of the movie? And why is it Shell's thighs?
That's what you should have asked me.
The only reason I'm going to jump into this is because I want to say, no, the favorite part of this movie is not Chel's thighs.
But like, why not?
Because
like,
I'm
is
not
it not?
because we're different. We're we're different, guys.
Y'all
We're
different.
Oh,
y'all,
fine,
y'all different.
Haha.
Favorite part of this movie? I don't know. Maybe it might be the fact that this movie is a little bit more mature than the most kids movies or family movies that we were watching. I don't know. I was watching it and I was just like, yo, you guys really had kids out here just rooting for these con men.
Right?
These con men who came and like were on a ship of colonizers and they just lied to a whole bunch of people about being gods and to steal their gold. And that's what you wanted us to root for. All right, well.
Yeah. To be fair,
Dallas,
like some of our people thought that they were gods at one point because of their skin and their hair and their eyes. We were like,
yeah, but that's why I'm
like,
you made a kids movie about this, but you made us root for the people who
like the
were lying.
colonizers.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. Dallas, you talk a lot about me and Gabby liking bad guys, but like,
yes.
Yo, bro, nobody in this movie,
like
nobody in this movie is a good guy.
Well, maybe the native, maybe like the what's this called?
What?
The chief.
Yeah, the
Chief is the only. Yeah, Chief is the only good guy in this movie.
Yep.
Everybody else, I'm like, yo, bro.
Is like they're con men, but like deep down, Miguel is like, you know, he cares about people. He wants them to stop getting murdered by Circle Khan. Tulio just wants to raw Chell. So like, you know.
Like deep down they're like,
he didn't originally want to do that with her, right? She like convinced him.
Thinking logically, he was like, we shouldn't do that. That can cause trouble. But then he looked at her again and was like, whoa.
Yeah, they come to be decent people, but at the same time, like they were still out. They were still out to like be deceptive.
Oh yeah, they're definitely trying to rob these people.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, great movie.
Oh yeah, quality children's family adult more. It should have been for adults. They should have marketed this movie to adults. It should have been like Sausage Party, but like
what?
I don't know what.
Okay, moving on. Gabby, is there anything else you want to say about this movie before we wrap this up?
No, I'm just really, I really enjoyed it, and this is one of the ones that we forget about. So I'm glad that you guys reminded me to watch it because it's a good one. It's delightful.
I agree with all of that. It is a delight. I'm glad that I reminded you all to watch it.
Anything else you want to say?
Dope movie. Audience, be on the lookout. Next week, we are probably going to fan cast this movie as well.
Live action fan cast, yes.
Yeah, like if how our fan cast be working. We're gonna do a fan cast for it because like half of us have already done the fan cast anyway, and we're just gonna keep celebrating this 20-year anniversary.
Woo!
And then think of other things to do while the movie machine is broke.
Well, the entire world machine is broke. Like,
yeah, honestly, it's not even just movies now. It's just
Earth is broken. Closed, man.
Earth is closed today. But anyway, audience, thank you for listening to all of that. One of our shorter episodes. You're welcome. Let us know what you think about The Road to El Dorado, Just Thighs. Thank you to Crown Digital, Brandon and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple. Thank you to me for editing and allowing me to drag you into the podcast here and there because that was my goal for the day.
Yay!
Yes. Thank you, Gabby, for the lessons on Aztec and Maya culture because I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
And also thank you for bonding with me about Chell and
dude, I got you.
Her lovely aesthetic.
Right?
Yes.
And you guys were able to do it without shame because Colin was not here to shame you.
That's true.
You know what? I love Colin, but
Same.
fine.
He would definitely be shaming us for
yeah, he would have been like, what is wrong with you?
Which is like,
I'm sorry, Colin. I didn't mean to disappoint you.
They knew what they were doing when they drew her like that.
Oh, they did.
Anyway, as always, you can find us on the medias, at Twitter, y'all_different. You can find us on Tumblr, Creative Differences Podcast. Find us on Facebook, just search for Creative Differences. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba.
You can find me, Gabby, on Instagram at Stegosaurus.
To me, can they find you? Gonna take that as a no. And
you can find me at Dreamy Films on the interwebs.
And you can find Colin on Twitter at Your Golden Boy, all one word.
That's a good one.
Oh, thank you.
That one's just like amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. It's been different.
Bye.
Bye.